Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm back, and it's Tuesday, June 23rd, and it is 10:18 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, I've already uploaded one video, and it is processing right now, so it should be available soon, and in the meantime, I'm going to record another one, a news video. Alright, well, and guess what I did? Guess what I did on my break between the last video and this video? Well, I'll tell you what I did, what I really did. I washed some dishes. I know. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. I know you're all thinking, I wish I led an exciting life like you do, Mishel. But, well, what can I say? All right, and I probably have gummy vitamins in my teeth, but you know what? I can live with it if you can. All right, well, now I do have a person to thank. Marcy Petty donated via coffee, and thank you very much for that donation. I appreciate it. And if you guys enjoy the content on this channel, consider supporting us by either Patreon or through coffee or snail mail. Hey, I'm not particular. Anyway, thank you guys so much for all your comments and your prayers and everything else. It is so much appreciated. I really enjoy doing this, and I hope it shows. For the most part, some days I think, you know, I mean, we all have those days, but most days I really enjoy it, big time. Sometimes it gets on, you know, the news and stuff really gets to me, and I have to take a little bit of a break. But yeah, for the most part, I love it, and I love interacting with you guys. So, all right, well, let's get to it. And we've got this tweet by Donald J. Trump. Numerous people arrested in D.C. for the disgraceful vandalism in Lafayette Park of the magnificent statue of Andrew Jackson, in addition to the exterior defacing of St. John's Church across the street. 10 years in prison under the Veterans Memorial Preservation Act. Beware. And let me tell you, if a president, you know, if ever any president was serious, it's Donald J. Trump. And he will. They will get prison time, and they should, because those statues belong to us all. They were paid for using taxpayer money. They belong to the public, to the American people. So yes, they should do time. Now, if it's decided, you know, democratically that a statue has to go for one reason or another, I can understand that, but it should be replaced with something. And yeah, that decision needs to be made by the community, not just a bunch of thugs. But I think you know where I stand with all that. And here is another tweet. There will never be an autonomous zone in Washington, D.C., and it wasn't for trying, was it? They sure tried. As long as I'm your president. If they try, they will be met with serious force. Now, he's warning people. He's telling you, don't try it. But, you know, these people are very slow to learn. And also, by our president, Donald J. Trump, I have authorized the federal government to arrest anyone who vandalizes or destroys any monument, statue, or other such federal property in the U.S. with up to 10 years in prison per the Veterans Memorial Preservation Act or such other laws that may be pertinent. So he's not fooling around here. He's serious, and I'm glad, because it's got to stop. You know, you can't have a small amount of people deciding for everybody else, oh, this is inappropriate. It's not right for you to view this statue. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. All right, let's look at this. German security agency warns far-left political assassinations by Antifa groups no longer unthinkable. Well, I never thought they were unthinkable. Did you? These people they're serious, And I think they're capable of that. I really do. The German Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution has sounded the alarm over the increased level of violence from far-left Antifa militants, saying murders of political opponents are now possible. According to the German security agency, far-left extremists have become more radical to the point that the development of terrorist structures and left-wing extremism is now a real possibility. The 22-page report, which was obtained by German newspaper Die Welt, adds that even the step of deliberately killing a political opponent no longer seems completely unthinkable. And if you are German or speak German, I probably massacred the title of your newspaper, and I apologize. The agency specifically notes several groups within the far left scene in various German religions which have become more radicalized and have closed off many in the broader far left. BFV said that the left extremists are committed to their own facts and split off from the rest of the scene due to their increasing willingness to use violence. Well, we've seen that they're more than willing to use violence. And look at this. Breitbart London, assassination guide directed at German populists posted on Antifa-linked site. Well, isn't that special? Radicalization has been seen in several hotbeds of far-left extremism, according to the agency, including Berlin, Hamburg, and Leipzig. The Antifa militants in Leipzig, I can never pronounce that, especially have become more extreme and violent in recent months. They are believed to be responsible for the sabotage of construction sites linked to building projects they have deemed to be gentrification. The sabotage has cost companies millions of euros and even led to an incident in which Antifa extremists viciously assaulted a female real estate company employee in her own home in November of last year. The state of Saxony, where Leipzig is located, has set up a special police division named Soko Linux specifically to deal with the rise of far-left extremist violence. Berlin has also seen continued Antifa violence primarily centered around the Riga 94 apartment complex, which has been occupied illegally by far-left extremists for decades. Most recently, far-left extremists were thought to be responsible for assaulting a German television crew during May Day protests, sending some of them to the hospital. All right. Most recently, far-left extremists were thought to be responsible for assaulting a German television crew during... Okay, I just read that. So why am I reading it again? Well, you don't know, and neither do I. Okay. The BFV's warning comes just months after German police union federal chairman Rainer Wendt made a similar warning. He said left-wing internet blogs and alternative media sites in particular are making no secret of their desire to violently resist the political system. Wendt added that far-left extremists could start a group similar to the Red Army faction, RAF, known as the Baader Meinhof Gang, a far-left terrorist group which carries out bombings and murders between 1970 and 1998. Well, nothing surprises me with these people at all. Nothing. And, oops. Oh, good. It's done processing. The video, that is, that I just uploaded. All right, and let's go back now, because we've got lots of news to get to, and we will. Now, we've already covered this, so I'm not going to cover this again about the fake news, Bubba Wallace. Yeah. That was, well, let's see, because this might have a little different twist on it. So let's check it out. All right, fake news. The NASCAR Bubba Wallace rope noose was a purposeful hoax. Throughout the late evening and overnight hours, we have been able to assemble definitive proof that NASCAR's story of a noose hanging in the garage of a drive Bubba Wallace is a hoax. No, I believed it the whole time. No, I didn't. And this is November of 2019. The same rope is there. And There it is in June 2020. When the race team of Bubba Wallace arrived at Talladega Speedway in Alabama, he was assigned to garage stall number 4 after reviewing prior 2019 video of that specific garage bay at that specific speedway, and after reviewing a picture released yesterday showing the FBI investigators on the scene. It is clear the rope noose in question was nothing more than a manual garage door pull down with a hand loop tied into it. And that's exactly what it looks like. Just saying. Because nobody's neck would fit in there. Maybe Adam Schiff's, because, you know, pencil neck. But nobody else's. All right, as you can see, the portion of the rope that shows the hand loop, aka noose, in 2019 was cut off in 2020. The number 4 garage door pull down rope did not break, it was cut, the hand loop removed, and that's why it is shorter. The question then becomes, was this a mistaken interpretation or an intentional effort to create the appearance of targeted hate? Well, what do you think? Really, do we even have to question that anymore? Of course it was purposeful. Nobody is that stupid. Nobody. Well, maybe some. All right. The answer to that question becomes clear when you look at the same rope on the adjacent stall number 5. A full picture shown below shows the pull-down rope on the next stall. On the stall next to Bubba Wallace also contained a hand loop tied into it. However, it is clear from the kinks in the rope the hand loop was untied, likely by the same person who cut off the noose on stall number 4 being used by Bubba Wallace's crew. Oh my. It just gets wilder and wilder. So this is the stall next door, and here it looks like it's been cut, right? So, because I guess Bubba Wallace got his knickers in a wad, thinking that somebody was trying to strangle him with a very, very tiny noose. Very, very tiny. Maybe he thought they were trying to strangle his hand. I don't know. Anyway. So it says, for comparison, there's a rope over here, and notice how short the garage pull-down string is after the hand loop is cut off. FBI investigators questioning security. Note, this is number 4 bay, and this is number 5. Bubba Wallace vehicle is in bay number 4 of garage. Compared door pull-down in November 2019 video, and of course the loop was there, and it looks like just enough space for a hand to fit in. I've never heard of anybody dying by hand strangulation. I mean, strangling of their own hand. I never heard that. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. All right. It appears the hand looping. Okay, I just read that. I don't know why I insist on reading things again. A review of the exact same. Okay, I just read that too. Oh, no, I didn't. A review of the exact garage bay stall video in November 2019. 6 months prior to the arrival of Mr. Bubba Wallace's team shows the hand loop as it most likely existed when the team arrived. I guess they just drove in and saw that little hand loop, which is what it was. A loop for your hand. Ah, my hand is being strangled. It's racist. Anyway, yeah. This is the hand loop that was cut from the manual garage door rope and presented by the team of Bubba Wallace and NASCAR as evidence of a noose. This simple garage pull down is what all of the racial stories have surrounded. Again, here's the side-by-side comparison. In the 2019 picture, the pull-down hand loop is present, and in the 2020 picture taken Monday with FBI officials, it is not. They had to cut that and get it off of there, you know, in case one of them decided to stick their head in there. I don't know. Who knows what goes through their minds? It's important to note that many manual garage doors at Talladega Speedway have these ropes and hand loops tied into them for use as pull-downs. These same pull-down ropes appear to have been purposefully mistaken for nooses. However, it's not just Bubba Wallace and NASCAR officials driving this hoax. To give some perspective, it's worth looking at how Auto Weekly framed a completely false racial component. Note, Matt Weaver is the associate motorsports editor for Auto Week USA and Auto Week Racing. And here's his tweet. History won't remember the racist and incorrigible act committed by someone on Sunday at Talladega. The nerve of someone putting a rope there to pull the garage door down. My gosh, I hope they go to prison for life. Instead, it will remember how the NASCAR community rose to the occasion to support one of their own. Here's how I Stand with Bubba was conceived and received. Oh my. Okay. We need a communal eye roll. Collective eye roll. There we go. Do you feel better? I do somewhat, but not really. Okay, so there you go. And JT Lewis, it looks like the Tulsa Trump rally will break the record for the largest online TV audience for a campaign rally. Yeah, that's the same rally that they said nobody attended. That's right. Let's go on. John Solomon. Trump issues executive order to arrest those who deface, remove federal statues, no exceptions. That's why I love me some Trump. Trump issues executive order to arrest those who deface, remove federal statues. The order follows a wave of protesters pulling down statues, memorializing leaders throughout U.S. history. See, you gotta love Trump. He's always one step ahead. And Jack Prosobiec. Here's the latest. Sean King, yes, they call him, what do they call him? Talcum X, because he's white, but he thinks he's black. Yes, Talcum X. Sean King called for statues of Jesus to be torn down. AOC declared herself black. Yes, she really did. Another shooting in Chaz. TikTokers discovered a human body in a suitcase and took selfies with it in Seattle. And it's only Monday. Well, actually, now it's Tuesday, and we've got a whole other day of madness. Yes. Sufficient unto the day is the madness therein. Well, okay, I misquoted the Bible, but... okay. Now, let's look at this. I'm sure you've already heard this, but, well, you're going to hear it again. Gosh darn it. Daily Mail. Oh, we're going to be inundated with... stupid, probably car ads, because my car is old and I have been saving up for, well, a long time to buy another one. So yeah, anyway, I just keep getting car ads because I keep looking. And then I have another problem, because I believe in very much giving things away once I'm done with them. And that's what I do. So I prayed that the Lord would bring somebody into my awareness that really needed a car, and he did. So I am gifting my old car, which I have kept very, very well. It's been, kept up mechanically and everything. It's still got some life in it left. So now I just have to figure out how to get it to Missouri, because they've closed the borders here. So yeah, that's going to be a challenge. So please pray about that situation, because I do believe in, really, when I'm finished with my clothes, I gift them when I'm finished with anything. Well, except food, because, well, just saying. But yeah, everything else I try to gift. Even if I get tired of painting or whatever, I never sell anything. I always give it, because the Lord has blessed me and I want to pass that on to others. Okay, Steve Bing killed himself Monday by jumping from the 27th floor of his LA apartment amid a depression battle. Liz Hurley, who he dated from 2000 until 2002 when she fell pregnant with their son, sparking a bitter paternity fight, has paid tribute, saying she is saddened beyond belief and calling him a sweet, kind man. She revealed that the pair had become close again and last spoke on son Damien's 18th birthday in April. Bing was also involved in a paternity fight over daughter Kira Kerkorian, his child, with tennis star Lisa Bonder, a real estate heir who inherited $600 million on his 18th birthday. Bing was also a movie writer and producer. Bing was thought to be worth $590 million when he died and had paid $100,000 a year into a trust fund for Damien. Now, yeah, well, come to find out, this person was a very large, long-time contributor to the Clinton Foundation. Just wondering. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. Liz Hurley has paid tribute. Okay, let me see now here. Paying tribute to her ex on Instagram. This morning she wrote, although we went through some tough times, it's the good, wonderful memories of a sweet, kind man that matter. In the past year, we have become close again. We last spoke on our son's 18th birthday. This is devastating news, and I thank everyone for their lovely messages. Damien also uploaded his own Instagram post calling news of his father's death devastating and adding, "This is a very strange and confusing time, and I'm immensely grateful to be surrounded by my phenomenal friends and family." Yada, 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 yada. I mean, I'm just trying to get to the part where he is, because he definitely is a large Clinton donator. And I'm just wondering if there's a connection there, because people associated with the Clintons tend to just evaporate. All right. So, yeah, I'm not going to go in, and I didn't realize how long this was. And I do feel bad about his death, but it just makes me wonder if, you know, anybody in particular might have something to do with it. You know, someone that we know. You know, just saying. All right, let's go back now. There's more news. There's always more news. Now, this is interesting. No, really, it is. And I know, you've probably read this, dam collapse. Well, how interesting could it be, you say? Well, it's pretty darn interesting. And I'll tell you why. If this dam collapses, 11 million people will die. That's right, 11 million people will die. And it's not the first time in China where something like that has happened. And it was covered up. I never even knew about it, really. But apparently this has happened before, and it was covered up, and a lot of people died. All right, expert warns China's Three Gorges Dam in danger of collapse. Residents in lower reaches of, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I should look that up because I've seen that river name many, many times. Anyway, Y River, let's call it Y River, should brace for evacuation, Chinese hydrologist. And expert warns Three Gorges Dam in danger of collapse. Now it says Taipei, this is from Taiwan, as torrential rains in China continue to wreak havoc on more than 24 provinces, notable Chinese hydrologist Wang Weilu has questioned the safety of the massive Three Gorges Dam, warning that it could collapse at any moment. In southern China, regional rainstorms and mudslides that began on June 1st have uprooted more than 7,300 houses and affected nearly 8 million people as of Monday morning, June 21st. The immediate economic loss is estimated at 20.6 billion, 2.9 billion by our U.S. currency. By local officials, the non-stop downpours have also raised the Chinese public concerns over the potential bursting of the world's biggest hydropower project. Despite government assurances that the dam is structurally sound, Wang has taken an opposing view and claimed that the facility is not as stable as many have been led to believe, reported New Talk. Wang pointed out that the dam's design, construction, and quality inspection were all carried out by the same group of people and that the project was finished too quickly. He said that even Chinese Vice Minister of Water Resources Yi Jianchun confessed at a June 10 press conference that water levels of at least 148 rivers in the country have risen above warning thresholds, which proves that the Three Gorges Dam has a limited effect on flood control. Rather than commenting on the validity of the images showing the dam's warping a year ago, Wang said a more serious concern is the cracks and substandard concrete discovered during its construction. He said a failure of the dam would have catastrophic consequences for individuals residing in the lower reaches of the White River, and that they should prepare for evacuation as soon as possible. Now, just think, it's long been a joke here that if it's made in China, it's poor quality, and it is. So, doesn't surprise me that this dam was completed too quickly with inferior materials. Now there is warping and cracks appearing in the dam, and this is pretty serious because a breach of that dam could mean millions die. In his interview with Radio France International, the Chinese water expert also criticized the Chinese government and state media for refusing to acknowledge the potential danger of the reservoir. He said that scientists who have spoken the truth have been criminalized by Beijing. Well, isn't that the norm there? You speak out about something and you're criminalized, resulting in a society with no communication. According to Chinese state-owned CNTV, water inside the Three Gorges Dam continues to accumulate and has risen 2 meters above its flood prevention level. Although the dam has been hailed by Beijing as one of the greatest engineering achievements in human history, its structural integrity continues to be questioned. And there's been all this. Now, this article is not the one, I guess, that stated the 11 millions, but that is, from what I've read, how many people would actually die if this dam actually was breached. So, I'm just wondering, Three Gorges, let's see if we can... what would be the effects if the Three Gorges Dam were to burst? Let me see here. It says, if the Three Gorges Dam is completely collapsed, more than 10 billion cubic meters of reservoir water will be released in a short time, and the coast between the dam site and Shashi City will be directly impacted by flood waves, resulting in serious disaster losses. The G Dam, I don't know, I can't pronounce that, water Conservancy project will be severely damaged, and Yisheng is flooded. The area below the railway. Okay, it still doesn't say. Oh, it says more. Let's look here, because somewhere I read. It says the maximum flow rate of the dam break peak will reach 2,370,000 cubic meters per second. The flood peak will reach the Gezhuba Dam Water Control Hub at 100 kilometers per hour, which is about 70 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour. All right. With 65 kilometers per hour and 4 to 5 hours after dam break, the water level of Yisheng will reach 64 to 71 meters above sea level. Yeah. Okay, let me see here. Somewhere I read about the predicted and I want to show you where I saw that. Well, I don't know, but there's a heck of a lot of people that would die. Seriously, because, okay, here it is. How many people would die? Wow, the dam only provides the 3% of the total need of the country, and the water it holds back is surely enough to slow down the rotation of the earth. That's how big this dam is. It can slow down the rotation of the earth. According to my estimate, the destruction of the dam will kill a lot of people, not only in China, but also in other regions of the world. Well, it still doesn't say, but somewhere it was the estimation of how many people lived in the region that would be flooded like immediately. And the floodwaters will come at such a force and so quickly and such a massive amount that there's no way people could escape it. So China, not too proactive there. They should be evacuating people. Yeah, well, I'm not going to waste more time looking for that, but suffice it to say that millions would die. And that is horrific that this dam is already showing warping and cracks in it, and they've had this monumental flooding, but yet they're not evacuating people. What's wrong with that? Well, there's lots wrong with that, but it doesn't surprise me. All right, now let's go on. This by Tom Fitton. War on police is already harming the public safety, yet Congress, Republicans and Democrats alike are rushing to pass laws that to undermine and harass police. I'm sorry, I can't read tonight. I don't know what happened. Hanging around Joe Biden, I guess. I don't know. More than 100 wounded in Chicago, 3 killed, 6 wounded in North Carolina, 1 killed, 11 injured in Minneapolis. Some warn that a turbulent brew of a pandemic, racial unrest, surges in gun sales, and a rancorous election year could make it a deadly summer. Yeah. That's what I expect to happen this summer. Not that, okay, I'm not being negative here. I'm just stating a fact. From all appearances, it looks like we're going to put in a very rough summer until the election, probably right up to the election. So that's what I believe. Now, I'm sure it will be over very quickly after the election, and then we'll ramp up again in 4 years. Okay, let's look at this. Now, I don't know about this research, about this website. I think I've come across it before, but I can't really vet it. It's called Global Research Center for Research on Globalization. So I would assume that it's a good resource. It is Canadian, but you know, we're okay. USA plan, militarize control of population, the National COVID-19 Testing Action Plan. The Rockefeller Foundation has presented the National COVID-19 Testing Action Plan, indicating the pragmatic steps to reopen our workplaces and our communities. However, it is not simply a matter of health measures as it appears from the title. The plan, that some of the most prestigious universities have contributed to, Harvard, Yale, Johns Hopkins, and others, prefigures a real hierarchical and militarized social model. At the top, the Pandemic Testing Board, akin to the War Productions Board that the United States created in World War II. The Pandemic Testing Board would consist of leaders from business, government, and academia. The government representatives would not in the first row. Okay, they're missing some punctuation. They're missing some words here. Government representatives would not be in the first row, but finance and economic representatives being listed in order of importance. The Supreme Council would have the power to decide productions and services with an authority similar to that conferred to the President of the United States in wartime by the Defense Production Act. The plan calls for 3 million U.S. citizens to be COVID-19 tested weekly, and the number should be raised to 30 million per week within 6 months. The goal is to achieve the ability to COVID-19 test 30 million people a day, which is to be realized within a year. No one trusts the U.S. government, not even the American people. For each test, a fair market reimbursement, example, $100 for all COVID-19 assays is expected. Thus, billions of dollars a month of public money will be needed. The Rockefeller Foundation and its financial partners will help create a network for the provision of credit guarantees and the signing of contracts with suppliers. That is large companies that manufacture drugs and medical equipment. According to the plan, the Pandemic Control Council is also authorized to create a Pandemic Response Corps, a special force, not surprisingly called Corps, like the Marine Corps, with a staff of 100 to 300,000 components. They would be recruited among Peace Corps and American Corps volunteers officially created by the U.S. government to help developing countries, and among National Guard military personnel, the members of the Pandemic Response Corps would receive an average gross wage of $40,000 per year. A state expenditure of $4 to $12 million a year is expected for it. The Pandemic Response Body would above all, have the task of controlling the population with military-like techniques through digital tracking and identification systems, and we're already seeing the grid work in place there, and identification systems in work and study places, in residential areas, in public places, and when traveling. Systems of this type, the Rockefeller Foundation recalls, are made by Apple, Google, and Facebook. According to the plan, information on individuals relating to their state of health and their activities would remain confidential whenever possible. Whenever possible. Right. However, they would all be centralized in a digital platform co-managed by the federal, state, and private companies. According to data provided by the Pandemic Control Council, it would be decided from time to time which area should be subject to lockdown and for how long. This, in summary, is the plan the Rockefeller Foundation wants to implement in the United States and beyond. If it were even partially implemented, there would be further concentration of economic and political power in the hands of an even narrower elite sector, to the detriment of a growing majority that would be deprived of fundamental democratic rights. The operation is carried out in the name of COVID-19 control, whose mortality rate has so far been less than 0.03% of the U.S. population, according to official data. In the Rockefeller Foundation plan, the virus is used as a real weapon, more dangerous than COVID itself. Yes, and, I noticed around here all of a sudden, and I mean, there's no cases in this immediate area anymore, and yet, everywhere I look, there's COVID testing sites being set up, and I'm a little bit leery. I'm not going to be tested, number one, because I don't want, say there's a false positive, and, then I'm tracked and traced and everything else. No, thank you. But, I wonder, because remember when they first started testing in the US, the testing kits were infected. They were actually infected. The kits that we got from China were infected with the virus. That's so nice of them. Oh, they're such a giving country. But and so I worry about that. And maybe I'm a little paranoid, but I think that I have good reason to be, because it's already happened. It's not like anyone can say, oh, that's ridiculous, that would never happen. It has happened. So there you go. Anyway, I thought that was a little interesting. Let's hope that their plan does not come to fruition, and let's hope that Trump stands firm against the globalists. All right. Let's go back now and check what other news we can get into. Why? Just because. All right. Now, I found this very interesting. Earthquake strikes Oklahoma after Tulsa. Oh, for heaven's sakes.
If you go back 30 years,
you're ticking me off, people. I hate it when things just automatically play. I really do. It irritates me. Can you tell? Earthquake strikes Oklahoma after Tulsa Trump rally shaking felt around state. Now, I find that interesting. I just do. Because I guess, I look at signs and symbols and things like that. I just wonder. An earthquake in northern Oklahoma on Saturday night rattled the entire state, including in Tulsa, just after President Trump finished his return to the campaign trail before thousands of supporters. The U.S. Geological Survey say the magnitude 4.2 earthquake happened at 10:15 p.m. near Perry, roughly 80 miles west of Tulsa. The trembler was about 4.8 miles deep, with impacts being felt around the state. So, yeah, residents in Stillwater, Enid, Ponca City, and Oklahoma City all reported the shaking. Over 200 people reported the quake to the USGS. According to Fox 25, the National Weather Service NWS office in Tulsa said on Twitter that its staff felt the tremor in Tulsa office, and the earthquake generated social media buzz after Trump's appearance. And of course, you probably heard about the earthquake that happened today. It was a 7.7, but it was downgraded by the Geological Society to a 7.4. I believe it was in Mexico. And I've heard so far they have 5 people dead, and I think they were expecting a tsunami. I don't know what happened with that. But yeah, that's a big quake. That's a very big quake, and there is damage. Anyway, thousands of earthquakes have been recorded in Oklahoma in recent years, with many linked to the underground injection of wastewater from oil and gas production. Regulators have directed producers to stop some injection wells. So there you go. The earthquake itself was non-consequential, but it's just interesting. It's interesting. I don't care what anybody says. All right, now let's go back, because there's more. Imagine that. No, really, there is. Okay, and she's a piece of work. She's AOC. It's vital that governors maintain restrictions on businesses until after the November elections, because economic recovery will help Trump be re-elected. A few business closures or job losses is a small price to pay to be free from his presidency. So let me get this straight, AOC. You are willing to make Americans suffer economically by keeping their business closed and bankrupt people and make the entire country suffer because you don't like Trump. Selfish much? Anyway, Pamela Pavkovich says, get a load of this. If you haven't seen it already, apparently she deleted it, but not fast enough. Oh yeah, she tried to delete it. She realized after she posted how this makes her look and how angry it would make people that own businesses and want to go back to work too. People are unemployed, they want to go back to work. But she wants to keep everything shut down. Why? Because of the virus? No, because she doesn't like Trump. Isn't that nice of her? Yeah, I guess she figures, well, as long as I'm okay, I'm getting paid. So everybody else can suffer, but I'm getting paid. That's her attitude. Us four, no more. Okay. And let's look at this. No, really, let's. Okay, here we go. Virginia Health Department urges citizen to snitch on churches and gun ranges. Well, isn't that special? No. What a guy. The Virginia Department of Health is encouraging citizens to lodge anonymous complaints against small businesses for violating Governor Ralph Northam's Democrat coronavirus-related restrictions on public gatherings. And, of course, well, you know that he feels exactly as AOC feels. Yeah, let's keep them closed to ruin the economy. We don't care if Americans suffer as long as, we don't like Trump. So it's all about us. It's all about us and how we feel. So Virginia residents can report alleged violations of Northam's executive orders regarding the use of face masks and capacity requirements in indoor spaces via a portal on the health department's website, a practice commonly known as snitching. Yeah. The webpage gives snitchers several options regarding the type of establishment on which they are intending to snitch. These include indoor gun range and religious service. Among others, Republican State Senator Mark Obenshain expressed concern that churches and gun ranges were specifically singled out, noting there is nothing to prevent businesses from snitching on competitors or to prevent the outright fabrication of reports. Well, they don't care about that. They just want everything closed so that Trump will look bad. That's what it's all about. Well, if Americans can't feed their family or if it bankrupts businesses, oh well. Yep. Meanwhile, when protesters were out in full force in the tens of thousands earlier in the month, Virginia's health department merely encouraged them to wear masks and wash their hands. They also recommended social distancing, which would obviously be impossible in such an environment. We support the right to protest, and we also want people to be safe, they said. What do they think is going to do more to spread the virus? A dozen people at a gun range or tens of thousands in the streets? Even if those at the gun range transmitted the virus at a higher rate, the latter would still infect more people due to sheer volume. It is indeed the case that coronavirus cases are on the rise nationally, as you'd expect after weeks of mass protest, but not all cases are created equal. The vast majority of cases are mild and asymptomatic, and the median age of those infected is drastically lower than it was months ago, meaning most new cases are among those least likely to die of the virus. That's evident in Florida, where cases are exploded, but the death rate has precipitously declined because the average person is the average person infected is now only 37 years old. In March, it averaged in the mid-50s. I guess the virus is looking for young blood. I don't know. Okay. In many states, more people above the age of 100 have died of the virus than those under 40. On the day coronavirus deaths peaked, for every person aged 24 or younger that died of the virus, 319 people above the age of 85 died of it. Well, they made sure of that, didn't they? Yeah, nothing like placing COVID positive people in with the elderly to make sure that they kick the can. It's disgusting. More than disgusting. All right. Now, let me see here. Oh, yes, let's look at this. And I'm going to end this shortly. Okay. Okay, yeah, we've already looked at this. We don't need to look at that further because Q already talked about it. Okay, and this is John. John here to help. Maryland already discussing anal swabs for children before they will be allowed to return to school, claiming it is much more accurate test for COVID-19. Well, yeah, isn't that nice? Positive rectal swabs in young patients recovered from coronavirus. Yeah, I don't know, but they're wanting all these children in Maryland, before they can go back to school, they have to have an anal swab. Well, I guess my child, if I had a child and I lived in Maryland, they wouldn't be going back to school. I would find some way to either get them into a private school or, well, it's probably with private schools as well. So probably have to homeschool, which I don't know if it's legal there or not, but that's, come on, people. All right. Well, I think, I might have covered what I had. No, I didn't even begin to cover it. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to stop there. It's 11 o'clock if you're on medication. Let's see how long I've been. Well, 47 minutes. I got a little bit more time. Do you? All right. Let's go back and just hit on a couple more things, and then I will say toodaloo. Well, some of this is old. My buying seeds published. Oh, yes. Let's look at this. Let's look at this, shall we? Of course we shall. Now, this is from yesterday, so it's warm and fresh. It's not hot and fresh, but hey, that's a really good price. Anyway, yes, and as you can see, I'm looking to, I've been looking at lenses because my birthday is in August, and my mother's saying, what do you want? A new lens. Okay. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer is famous for her tyrannical rule, her blind ambition, and her raw hatred for those who disagree with her. Yeah, I like this. Michigan's lockdown permitted canoes, sailboats, prohibited jet skis, motorboats. Yeah, apparently the virus, doesn't like canoes and sailboats. No, really. Very much attracted to jet skis and motorboats. So, she had to ban those. Michigan Governor Whitmer extends lockdown rules, banning visiting friends and partial store closures. She is a nut bar. Really. Okay, in March, crazed Democrat Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer prohibited big box retailers from in-person sales of seeds. Yeah, seeds. Because according to her, plant seeds were non-essential. Tell that to farmers. or people with home gardens. Like I said, she's out there. Whitmer took to the streets last week and marched with Black Lives Matter while Michigan was under a coronavirus lockdown order. She encouraged leftists to protest in the streets while telling small businesses and churches they must remain closed because of the virus. Yeah, that's what she did. Did I miss something here? No, I didn't. Yeah, as the far left governor banned motorboats and jet skis, but canoes and sailboats were acceptable, this woman is drunk with power. She could be drunk with something else. Who knows? She might be smoking crack. I'm just kidding, but, well, who knows? I mean, she's out there. Earlier this month, the tyrannical governor joined the radical call to defund the police. Now Whitmer wants President Trump to give her a bailout. Yeah, I bet she does. During her press conference, the governor listed the amount of money the state has spent in fighting COVID-19. She said the state has spent more than $436 million fighting COVID-19 in the past 10 weeks, which is money the state wasn't planning on spending when the budget was set a year ago, on top of the $3 billion the state has already lost in tax revenue. Send me some money, Trump. I hate your guts and I hope you die, but I want money. All right. The governor said that there is no way to cut spending enough to fill the estimated $6 billion hole over the next 2 years. Maybe she should fill it by jumping into it. Just saying. She called on the federal government to come together to help Michigan and other states facing budget challenges. Under the current Federal CARES Act, states can't use federal aid money to pay for things that were in the budget before the pandemic started. I don't think he's stupid enough to send taxpayer money to Whitmer. If they're in the hole, then she should jump in and fill it. I'm just saying. Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to end there because it's almost an hour, and I think I'm done. You just reach that point where you say, you know what? I'm done like a biscuit. And so there we go. And I'll be back probably tomorrow. I see no reason why I wouldn't be. So I will see you in the next video. And you guys stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and stay frosty. I don't know. It's hot out there. You need to stay frosty. Or have a frosty. They're delicious. Gosh. I haven't had a Frosty in a long, long time. A Wendy's Frosty. They had those little baby cups they used to give with Frosties. I wonder if they still do that. Anyway, I'm just, talking to hear myself talk, so I need to go. All right, guys. You guys really have a good night's sleep, and I will see you in the next video. All right, guys. Good night.